Hello and good afternoon. Thank you for joining on this absolute scorching day here in London. My name is Elliot Levy. I run the content here at Elsewhere, and I'm joined by Leon Gallman, who is the co-founder and CPSO, who is here to talk you through his talk that he gave just 2 weeks ago at the AI Summit inside the Agentic Enterprise. So over to you, Leon.
Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, everyone, whoever's in London. I hope you're not melting down. My internet did melt down a couple of times today, so if it does happen, I'll switch quickly to 5G, and I apologize in advance for the disruption. But yeah, let's go. So inside the Agentic Enterprise, my name is Leon. I'm the co-founder and chief product and strategy officer at Elsewhere. You can find me on LinkedIn and X. At Elsewhere, we run your most expensive operations for a third of the cost with custom AI. Jump into elsewhere.com to get some more info. And to kick us off, I'll show this slide, which is a slide that shows us how fast this technology has been diffusing. This is faster we're ever seen with any type of technology. And I just want to remind ourselves that we're bound to make a few wrong turns, and that's okay. The great news is that we all have the magic box. And the question is really, how should you use the magic box? And there's loads of them. That's what's amazing about this. This is not something that is locked into one or two companies and just accessible for them. This is a technology that is available to everyone. What you have in front of you here is logos of just the very kind of blue chip foundational model. So there's loads of options. And these models are commoditizing fast. What you can see on the graph here is this releases of the frontier labs and their benchmarks. And you can see how fast they are closing the gaps with each other. But even more interestingly, you can see that the open source and open weight models are very fast behind closing the gap, which is phenomenal. It is so much of a commodity that the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, said this, I think, in a BlackRock conference a couple of weeks ago. We see a future where intelligence is a utility, like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter. So what more do you need than Sam Altman pre-IPO telling you that this technology is a commodity? And OpenAI and Claude see a huge opportunity for this technology diffusing in enterprise. So Anthropic seems to always targeting enterprise, but OpenAI recently made a massive pivot into enterprise. They killed Sora and refocused on enterprise. And the prediction is that the majority of tokens consumed will be consumed in enterprise. These frontier models, OpenAI and Claude, these labs, they take this opportunity so seriously that they set up solutions to target that, raising venture money to set up labs and JVs to target enterprise and helping the technology to spread into enterprises for enterprises to take advantage of it. So what is the total addressable market of enterprise OPEX? The kind of the opportunity in the costs in the business models of enterprises. McKinsey tried to put a number on it, so between 6 to 8 trillion per year, quoting long-range numbers getting to 15 to 23 trillion annually by 2040. There's a lot of money to be made here. We also recently learned that chat is a terrible UX. In addition, we learned that token maxing is a terrible idea. So pouring tokens over your organization and hoping for the best is not a good idea. Here's a company that spent $500 million in tokens in a single month. And famously, Uber COO said that they spent their entire yearly budget in a few months. But token prices have actually collapsed. It's cheaper and cheaper to buy tokens. So token spend is an AI scalability problem. It's not really a model problem. You need to think about this boring stuff like context quality, model routing, harness design, measuring, evaluating things. But if big companies can't figure it out, more nimble, smarter startups will. This is Paul Graham, one of the founders of Y Combinator, telling you that the technology works. And enterprises have to figure it out how to use this technology. And I just want to talk a little bit about what an agent is. And I'm going to use OpenClaw to help us define that. And if for those who don't know, OpenClaw is an open source personal assistant that runs on your own machine. It's a very clean implementation of an agent. It's quite genius in how simple it is. You kind of look back at it and say, well, obviously this is how it should work, but that's how genius simple things usually are. Peter Steinberg, who's the inventor of OpenClaw, since then been hired by OpenAI, and I expect a lot of his ideas are gonna land in next releases of GPT. Also, interestingly, OpenClaw itself has been completely written by agents. So with agentic engineering so much that Peter famously said that he doesn't even look at pull requests when he writes with agents. It's the fastest growing open source project of all time, which is incredible. Okay, I think I just had my internet dropping as I suspect. I think we should be good now. So just going to repeat the slide again in case that I dropped. So what is an agent? An AI agent is a large language model that doesn't just chat with you. It can act in the real world on your behalf. It has the brain, which is the large language model, different tools like the CLI, the browser, the API, your files. It also has a memory and a loop that keeps it working when you're not talking to it. And also, it's essentially just a bunch of Node.js scripts. It's just a bunch of files. And a loop in an agent, well, in OpenClaw would look something like that. First, it observes, so it checks new messages, tasks, calendars, files, etc. It then reasons. It thinks, what should I do next to achieve my goals? It can plan, so it can break down complex tasks into steps. And then it can act, use tools like CLI commands, the browser. Then it can save what happened. It's persistent between sessions using memory. And it repeats. It has a loop and a heartbeat that keeps it going even when you don't message it, but also when you do. And I want to touch this term that I used a few times now, command line interface, or CLI, and it's very interesting and important. So it controls everything on your computer or server. It's text-based, so it's an interface where you can access any of your computer capability using text. And that's why it's such a good fit for large language models, because they utilize text as well and understand it very well. Increasingly, it's been built into all software because of agents and creating an interface for agents. And I think maybe if you use your computer a few times, you launch this terminal, you were kind of confused what it is. If you're a nerd, you know what this is very, very well. So let's talk about work in enterprise and in general, work. What is work? Work is just an algorithm. It's a series of steps to accomplish a goal. And a company or an enterprise is just a collection of these algorithms. So a particular process in an enterprise today could look like this. A sequence of actions across different actors, utilizing different systems. It's quite complex, it's manual, it's fragmented, and what we're doing when we're implementing agents, essentially a bunch of steps to the left, and changing humans' role from executing to verifying the work. Because these steps can run in parallel, we can significantly increase productivity. It's automated and there's no manual handoffs. So you can convert it in the 2 weeks before into 2 hours. And this is kind of kind of updated process from an actual client work that we do, and it's repeatable. Most enterprises things like that. So you really need to redesign work to take advantage of new technologies. I'm sorry. The heat is ruining the internet and on slides. Okay, get you somewhere. Sorry about this. Okay, next slide. All right, I think we're here. So you need to rethink work and in increasing complexity of use. So what we see a lot of times right now is kind of a chatbot usage. So somebody uses a Claude or a GPT or Gemini on their computer, and they kind of increasing their productivity by asking some questions, completing some kind of tasks, or helping to write stuff. Oh my God. And maybe even it's a little bit more advanced, so you use Claude Code or Codex, a little sequence allows you to tasks, and maybe it's even kind of a little workflow across several agents. Where we're going to is into this idea of an agentic enterprise. We have a coordination of agents across the organization at scale. And back to this slide, great. Well, you really need to redesign work to take it. Oh my God, why is this happening? I'm sorry. Yeah, back, stop it. That's a loop. Okay, so back to the slide and the point I'm trying to make. You need to redesign work to take advantage of new technology. If we got the electricity, when that came into factories, which were running on steam, the first thing that we did was to replace the steam engine with a dynamo, and nothing really changed. The factory remained the same. With time, we figured out that you can actually use electricity in a completely different way, because electricity cables are thin, and you can put motors on any workstation. So the footprint of this technology is much smaller, and that allowed us to create different workstations that do different types of work and really redesign the factory floor. And when that happened, the productivity that we've seen from mass manufacturing really came in. So I'm going to try to get my next slide. Hopefully it didn't work. Because I was, Okay, so using a large language model should not marry you to a single company. It's commodity. And if you have GitHub Copilot in your organization, I think this month you're going to get a very different invoice to what you got this year. Okay, I'm going to try and move to the next slide. Nope, doesn't want to move to the next slide. Okay, almost got to the next slide. So,
Hey, Leon.
SaaS, not this time.
I think, Leon, I think we might actually rearrange this one for next week when it's a little bit cooler. And we'll come back again so we can actually get you through it, because there's a few little bits of lag which might make it a little bit hard to listen to right now. So I think if we come back next week and people can tune in and hear it properly. How about that?
Hey, Elliot, am I completely